So, King of the Hill is a really great show. I've seen it I don't know, a lot of times. I watched it when I was younger and when I got older a lot. And it seems like they have multiple layers of humor that are really well suited, no matter what age you are. The way they follow around different groups of the main characters is really cool. For the crowds around 12, 13, they follow Bobby as the main character, whereas to the older characters, Hank, they would follow for anybody who's around 40 as the main character, but then there's sub characters for each group as well. It's really great, and everything's really grounded, so it brings more to the comedy. Nothing crazy is going on like maybe what you see in American Dad or Family Guy. Whenever something does happen in King of the Hill, it's always I don't know, it's so funny because it's grounded in this normal reality, so it stands out more, if that makes sense. And the storytelling is really good as well. I mean, there's no kind of agenda that they're following here. It's always about the characters and what they're thinking and stuff. In church hopping, only Hank would make it a big deal about the seats. Who cares about something like that? Yeah, Hank cares.
Excuse me, these are our seats.
Pardon me?
You're probably new here. This is where my family always sits. So, you think maybe you could, sit somewhere else?
He starts looking at other churches and stuff, and then
I want to make it clear that we're just looking. We sort of had a falling out with our old church because of a situation with our pews.
Boy, do I understand situations. A few years ago, I made top salesman at McNabb Motors. The one thing people don't realize about car dealerships is the easy access to cocaine. Woo! But God was still looking out for me. Sent my wife to taser me in the shower. Praise the Lord!
Stroop is just as bad, and she's she's getting all kind of spiteful about it when she finds out. She even puts it up in front of the church. She changes, she goes to the effort of changing the board thing to say no assigned seating or something like that. And they never really tried to say that one of them is right or wrong or anything like that. They just showed how the characters would act in those situations, which makes the story better.
That's why he's God. And he would want me to forgive you and welcome you back.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, that's where God wants me to sit.
Where are the Smiths?
Well, it seems they found out the megachurch has daycare, a movie club, and Bible bingo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that place is good for them, but we really like it here. That is, unless we have to worry about our seats being taken every week.
I can't promise anything, Hank.
Well, I can't promise you Bill won't find out that the megachurch has Christian speed dating, and Dale and Boomhauer love to ride on trams.
Welcome back, Hank. Please take your seat.
Or in the episode where Hank catches Bobby smoking, so he has him smoke a shit ton of cigarettes and stuff, and then they all start kind of spinning out of control and they start getting addicted to smoking again. And it's they weren't thinking about, oh, is this right or not right, or what's the moral we have to show at the end or anything like that. It's just it's just all of the characters acting within character in those situations. So pretty much I think that this would be a really good one to reboot, and not for just the surface level reasons of when it came out. I think the type of humor it had was better serviced for where we are now as opposed to then. Back then, the shows it was running alongside and trying to compete with doing a very different thing, and it didn't gain the traction I feel that it could now with that style of humor and storytelling, especially if you consider where the characters all would be since the show had gone off the air until now. It had been the same amount of time that passed then. And I think Mike Judge even said something about approaching it in the same way. If it ever did reboot, which I was really happy to hear, because that's obviously somebody who's very in touch with their material that they're making, and very conscious of it, because it would serve the best, I think, to the story and everything, and create the best situations for new stories to tell. And I mean, I think obviously, like before, like, you know, saying any ideas that I've been thinking about, like, you know, obviously the characters all know best. I think that's how they did a lot of the writing towards the end too, was like referring to the actors who actually played the characters. So if, like, you know, 10 to 12 years had passed, that's gonna put Bobby and Connie in their like early and mid 20s, and I think that Bobby would serve as like a really good main character at this point now. I could see them maybe like working towards living in like Hollywood or Las Vegas and New York. I know Bobby references this at least once or twice, and maybe better for this time for them would be like maybe living in Houston or something, still close enough also that he could have interactions with like all the other characters while like kind of still pursuing his own thing and moving actively towards that. He'd probably be like some kind of like cheesy prop comic, and I mean probably Connie would probably pursue maybe trying to be a concert violinist or something, but it'd be interesting, their dynamic though, living together.
Bobby, deep inside those folds, you must know that you and Connie do not belong together. She is destined for Harvard, you are destined for something less. Maybe retail.
I will not end up behind a counter. I will be a prop comic, Connie will be a concert violinist, and we will find a way to be on the road together. That is the future. I suggest you get used to it, Dad.
And I don't know, with Buck Strickland,
Well, what are you all looking at?
at this point he'd be like 70 or 80 years old. I definitely don't think he'd be running Strickland Propane anymore, even if he was alive. Elizabeth Strickland, she's be around mid 70s at this point, so I don't know with her either what she would be up to. But that would mean probably, I think Hank would be like running everything over there probably at this point, I would hope. And he'd be like, I don't know, his early 50s or something, while Peggy's in her mid 50s. I think she's like a little bit older than Hank. Mike Judge would be very happy with this because I think he wanted to like make Hank older originally or something, so he'd be stoked because the extra age and the graying like layered on top of how Hank already is, it's like, yes, I want that. And I don't know what Peggy would be doing, maybe just being terrible.
Dad.
Well, that's me, honey.
Really? You were beautiful.
Were. Oh, Bobby, I still am.
Okay.
Bobby, don't you see, when you look at me now, you can't see somebody who's beautiful. You just see a mother.
I don't know. I think Connie's mom is beautiful. And Mrs. Grandma.
All right.
Hey, there's me standing next to the world's largest roadrunner.
Are you still having those nightmares where he pecks out your eyes?
I forgot about those.
Good.
And with Luann and Lucky, I don't know, you could explain them away just by saying Luann's a really good mechanic that had moved to a bigger city, but I don't feel like it's right. It seems like it makes more sense to me maybe just acknowledge in the show that they had passed on, and it would also make sense too with positioning Gracie's character then. That she could live with Hank and Peggy, and then it'd just be like, I don't know, their reactions just intensified because of their added age, and she would be a really good kind of fill for the age group where Bobby was at in the original. Boomhauer ended up being a state trooper, and I doubt at this point, with him being in his late 50s, that he'd still be doing that. He'd probably be retired, but the real question is, what would he be doing with all the free time? And I don't know how to answer that. He's always like, I don't know, they've never given us as many details to work with for this character. as the other characters, so it's hard to call on that one. He could be doing anything extra with that extra free time. And Bill would be like, I think 50 years old, maybe his mid 50s, and I don't know if anything about him would have changed. I feel like he would be exactly the same. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, I feel like he would keep doing what Bill does, you know?
No. Hey!
Dale is definitely one that I don't know. I feel like have some pretty crazy stuff going on. I don't know if the relationship Dale had with like Nancy was like really sustainable for looking at the way Nancy treated it through the entire series. I really think at this point she would finally just be with Jod Redcorn, and like there'd be details about it that just Dale didn't understand, so he just like thinks she got abducted by aliens or something, and like she just lives with Jod Redcorn and just always happens to miss her or something and not see her. And I could see like Joseph knowing and like trying to explain to him, but he just doesn't get it, so he just gives up. And Dale like says he's looking after Joseph, but it's more like Joseph has to keep Dale from doing something crazy on a daily basis if he like continue kind of spiraling on the path he was on. And Con and Min are probably doing the same stuff. I mean, with the exception of probably bothering Connie all the time to leave Fat White Lump. I don't remember what they call them. What was it?
What about you? Fat white lumps about me?
Anyway, I mean, I think there's a lot more to these characters than they really let on the surface to see, that you would see in like most of the episodes. Like, for example, the redneck on Rainy Street in that episode, Con like shows a totally different side of him that you haven't seen before. But it's not like just reckless either. It's like at the end they imply that he had full intentions of like doing what's best for his daughter and knew how he was going to do it. Still cool to see like this other side of him being able to be like more mellow. And then with Min on the Min Who Knew Too Much, she like stuck up for those guys when Dale and like the rest of the Gum Club broke into like her big shot at getting into Nine Rivers. Like she totally stuck up for them, and I think that's really cool. And in both of these cases, on both ends, it was like there was such an awesome level of trust like from the other side for like Min and Con that like kind of shows us a lot about them.
Oh wait! They're my guests! I used all my guest passes so my friends could cheer me on today. They must have gotten lost. Right, guys?
Me? You crazy? Yeah. You're gonna blow all our guest passes. How am I supposed to impress my work superiors?
I got us in here, Con, so it's my call. Take it or leave it.
Your guest pass privileges will certainly be under review. But now, Min, you're up.
Oh, right.
This show has so many different characters, and so many of them they bring them in just like one time. You know, they don't have to like fan service a bunch of them back in or anything, but it'd be cool to see like what at least like one or two of them are up to after all that time has passed. I think Kane Skrettelberg, I thought it was Skrettelberg when I looked at it. It was like Skretberg, and I was like, oh man, I just remember bad, I guess. But like, yeah, like what would he be doing now? He's like his late 20s, maybe, or like early 30s. I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting to see where he turned up if anybody was hyping on the Fun Center still. You know, Carl Moss would be old. I don't know if he'd be still kicking. I know he won't come back, but kind of be cool to see Buddha Sack. I never noticed either that I guess that like the first Donna they had, Buck told Hank to go get a new Donna because she like stole office supplies or something.
Hank, bad news. I just figured out who's been stealing the office supplies. It's Donna. Found them in a bedroom.
Good detective work, sir.
Yeah, well, I was getting tired of her anyway. So it looks like you gotta find us a new Donna. Make sure you find one that isn't always asking, "What are you thinking about?"
And then he like does, and like the new Donna is like he hired another person named Donna. I never realized the first person was named Donna as well until I started like looking into it. I'm like, oh, that's super funny, and I didn't even realize notice that at all. Oh yeah, for sure. Like Dooley, he'd be really funny to see now in like his mid-20s.
Huh?
This party's boring. Everybody hates you.
Or like Clark Peters.
Back off. This is none of your business, Bobby.
Oh, I'm making it my business, Peters.
What are you gonna do? You gonna kick me in the nads?
That'd be so funny to see how they kind of like ended up after all that time. And something crazy I didn't even know about Clark Peters and Bobby and Chain Wasana-san and Raymond and Luann's mom and Donna. They're all like the same voice actor.
Like just kind of do stuff with it.
They really got to a place where they were trusting the actors. Like we were our own Bible for the characters, and like at a certain point, like season 9, I said, "Can I not say fruit pie or prop comic for 1 year? Can we just I can put a stop to that?"
Why would you say fruit pie a lot?
Because Bobby loved fruit pies, and he wanted to be a prop comic.
And so, but they went into so many different areas, and I learned so much from Mike and
It's just crazy that she does like all those voices. And Mike Judge does a bunch of the voices too. There's a lot of characters actually, like they use like every here and there, like Chain or like Emily or Randy Miller.
Hey, you want to watch me fly my plane? Wait for me. You'll be sorry. You'll be sorry.
I could really keep going though. I don't know. I heard that like somebody like had an idea for some new Koth stuff that was really good, but that's all I know. That'd be really cool if that was true. But yeah, so I'm gonna go now.
We're free. Gonna.